The Knicks have made a shocking decision. While the Knicks training camp roster is set, New York had to waive 2 key players in a huge mistake. On top of that, New York is keeping a player on the roster that shouldn't be on it. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button and have notifications turned on so you don't miss any new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks waived 2 players. The Knicks went from 0 to 100 real quick. They signed 11 players yesterday. Let's pull up the list and see exactly who they signed. Shout out to Steph Bondi and New York Basketball on the app X for giving us this following information. The Knicks load up for camp. 11 signings in one day. According to Bondi, here's all of the 21 Knicks training camp invites with contract designations. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Malcolm Brogdon, who's non-guaranteed, Jalen Brunson, Jordan Clarkson, Pacome Dadier, Mohamed Diawara, who's non-guaranteed, Tosan Evboman, who's on a 2-way contract, Josh Hart, Ariel Hukporti, Trey Jemison III, who's on a 2-way contract, Tyler Kolek, Alex Len, who's non-guaranteed, Garrison Matthews, who's non-guaranteed, Miles McBride, Kevin McCullough Jr., who's on a 2-way contract, Mitchell Robinson, Matt Ryan, who's non-guaranteed, Landry Shamet, non-guaranteed, Karl Anthony Towns, and ending this list is Gershon Yabusele. That's a stacked training camp roster. But in creating this team, New York made a few mistakes. Did anybody realize that Dink Pate and Bryson Warren were not on that list? Well, I did. And I remember yesterday, New York also announced 2 more signings. Let's take a look at those signings too. Shout out to New York Basketball for giving us this information. Dink Pate signs a training camp deal, or also known as an Exhibit 9 contract with the Knicks. And after signing that deal, Dink Pate took to social media and said the following: "Them folks just thought I was gonna quit? What?" And then he gives a couple of prayers emojis. The Knicks also announced that they signed Bryson Warren to an Exhibit 10 contract. If this name looks familiar, it should. This was the player the Knicks got back in return after trading the rights to Moses Brown. He was also a key standout on the Miami Heat Summer League team. Unfortunately, he dealt with a hamstring injury that kept him out of action for the rest of the Summer League. So the Knicks make all of these signings, and then quickly, after making those announcements, they released the following information. Shout out to Ian Bagley, an SNY NBA and also Knicks insider, for giving us this following information. According to him, the Knicks have announced that they have waived Dink Pate and Bryson Warren. Both were on Exhibit 10 deals and will have financial incentive to join the Knicks Westchester team. Now, why did this happen? Why sign them only to waive them? Well, honestly, the Knicks were likely always going to waive them anyways. However, they were likely not going to waive them this fast. The reason they waived them this fast was for the following reason. Shout out to Bobby Marks for giving us this following update and information on why the Knicks waived these players so quickly. According to him, this is all about the salary cap with both of these waivers. New York was not allowed to include an Exhibit 9 in either contract because they were below 14 players on standard contracts. If either player was injured in workouts or training camp, New York would have been responsible for their salary. An Exhibit 9 contract only guarantees a player $15,000. Ian Bagley also confirmed the same thing that Bobby Marks just said on a recent edition of his mailbag. In answering the following question, Bagley gave us the following response. According to him, I'm confused. What's the difference between a two-way, Exhibit 10, and Exhibit 9 contract? According to Bagley, you are not the only one. Exhibit 9 deals protect teams if players get injured during camp or the preseason. Teams need to have 14 players on the roster before they can sign Exhibit 9 contracts. If a player doesn't have an Exhibit 9 deal, a team will be financially responsible for the player's salary/rehab if they get hurt during camp. This is a risk most teams want to avoid, and it's part of the reason the Knicks waived Pate ahead of camp. Pate was on an Exhibit 10 deal, so the Knicks didn't have injury protection there. If he set foot in camp and got hurt, the Knicks would be fiscally responsible. ESPN CBA cap expert Bobby Marks provided a clear definition of Exhibit 10, Exhibit 9, and two-way deals when we spoke about it earlier. So that's the main reason the Knicks waived them. They were on Exhibit 10 deals, and if they got injured, New York would be responsible for their full contract. And being on the hook for that, New York did not want to have any part of that. And since they couldn't give out any more Exhibit 9 deals, which they definitely would have given both of these players if they could have, they only had one choice available: sign them quickly and then waive them. And the reason they did that is for the exact reason Ian Bagley just stated. Because by doing that, now they have financial incentive to join the Knicks Westchester team. I already mentioned earlier, New York was likely always going to waive them. And if they did, they were going to end up on their G League team. And I'm not the only one who believes this. Sports Illustrated, they also wrote the following article about the exact same situation. According to Sports Illustrated, here's what they had to say regarding the Knicks and why they waived Pate and Warren so quickly. Despite their departures, Pate and Warren will likely resurface with the Knicks G League club in Westchester, which acquired both of their returning player rights. If they remain unsigned, they have financial incentive to join the Knicks Westchester team. This was always the plan for New York, but certainly they did not want to go to this plan so quickly. But they needed to, because if they didn't, they would be responsible for these players' full contracts in case any type of injury happened. And that's definitely not something New York wanted to be on the hook for. So I understand their reasoning here. But in my opinion, the main reason it's a mistake is because now you lose out on seeing what these kids can do during training camp. Maybe they can outplay some of the players that you signed to training camp deals. And speaking about training camp deals, there is one player that New York signed recently that should not be on this team, should not be on this roster, and certainly should not be on the training camp team. And that player, it's Matt Ryan. So we waive two young players and we keep this man. We keep this man, Matt Ryan, on the roster on a training camp deal. I'm good on Matt Ryan. I would give it to any other player, including one of the players we just waived. But what's done is done. He's on the training camp team, and that's all we have to say about it right now. However, every single time I think about Matt Ryan, I think about one thing: him getting cooked defensively, being pulled from the game, and never being seen again. I understand. Knockdown shooter, lethal three-point shooter, great shooter. If you can't defend, I don't want you on the team. We have so many players that are great shooters and can actually defend. Landry Shamet, he's a player. Malcolm Brogdon, despite the injury history, he's a player too. If we have players that can do both shoot and defend, I would rather have those players than a player like Matt Ryan. Even more than that, we are wasting a training camp roster spot with Matt Ryan. Does anybody believe that this man is going to make the roster? With the roster we have right now, how stacked it is, do we think that Matt Ryan is going to make the team. He's not even eligible for a two-way, and all of our two-ways are filled. It's a mistake to have him on this team. I would much rather see Dink Pate there. I would much rather see Bryson Warren there. They're younger, they're better, and they can play both sides of the ball. They can still develop. Shout out to channel sponsor FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, for giving us this updated information and these updated odds on the Knicks regular season win total. And as you can see here, that win total, it's dropped in the last few weeks. It was at 54, then at 53. Now it's at 52.5. And the over for that is at -115. The under is at -105. Whatever it takes, New York has to prove to everybody, including Vegas, that they can win 52 games and get beyond that point. And this season, I think they have a very good chance in doing that. Matt Ryan is who he is. He's a shooter, a knockdown three-point shooter, likely when open. But in terms of a defender, he's very weak. Poor defender. And we don't need him on this team, on this roster, and not filling up a roster spot on training camp. Give it to anybody else, but don't give it to Matt Ryan. Either way, this is the way the Knicks want to move, and I've said it from the start. Whether I agree with it or not, whether I understand it or not, I am going to fully support Leon Rose and this Knicks front office, and I plan on doing that. Even if I don't want Matt Ryan on the training camp roster, I still believe in Leon Rose and what he's trying to do, because every time I look at him, he's making another move to help this roster get better as we move forward. And as long as he's doing that, I really have no complaints. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks signing all of these players, but also waiving Dink Pate and also waiving Bryson Warren? Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.